Good morning. Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. All three commissioners are present. Commissioner Gross will lead us in flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we approve the minutes of February 25th, 2013.
Second. Motion is made and seconded. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, changes? Call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved.
Chairman, I move we approve the notice agenda. There are 4 items. Approved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. First item is a call for seal business to LC. Gary, you got our thing for us.
This is a call for bids for the 2013-2014 legal printing contract that we do every year. The board will open up the bids on Monday, April 8, 2013 at this meeting.
And that is resolution.
13070.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim LC, Public Works Director, speaking to items number 2 and 3 on your notice agenda. Item number 2 is request for qualifications to develop a remedial action plan for the Lewis County Motor Pool site. Requests are due to the Public Works Department by 5 p.m. on March 18, 2013, and this is resolution number 13-071. This resolution will give notice that a request for a statement of qualifications has been issued to develop a remedial action plan for Lewis County Motor Pool site. Underground contamination of volatile organic compounds was discovered at the Lewis County Motor Pool site in 1998. Lewis County contracted with Pacific Northern Environmental to permanently decommission a 12,000-gallon underground fuel storage tank and conduct site assessment at the Lewis County Motor Pool site in November of 1998. Excavation activities were limited because of the close proximity to utilities, the county building, and a public street. Analytical results of the removed material showed petroleum hydrocarbon contamination in the gasoline range above method A cleanup levels. Free product was not observed in the excavation prior to backfilling. This RFQ is issued to develop the work left off in 1999, which was to characterize the extent of contamination and develop a remedial plan. Basically, this was a cold case file for Department of Ecology. They found it and then brought it back up to us and asked us if we would go ahead and develop a remedial action plan, and this is just following up on their request to us. Speaking to item number 3 on your notice agenda, this is calling for the on-call consultant roster for architectural, engineering, and/or professional services assistance needs for future projects, and this is resolution number 13-072. As you're aware, every year we open up the on-call consultant roster, and this is for architectural, engineering, and professional service. The resolution will allow the opening of the on-call consultant roster to obtain applications from businesses interested in having their business placed on one or more of their rosters. The on-call consultant roster allows the county to consider consultants for projects requiring architectural, engineering, or professional services. On-call consultant projects shall be awarded from the on-call roster in accordance with the provisions of RCW 39.80. And I think, as you're aware, we will accept additions to the on-call consultant roster throughout the year, but in accordance with the RCWs, we do open it up and advertise once a year so that professional firms are aware that we're opening up the on-call list.
Tim, approximately how many people do we have on that roster? Do you remember?
I
I don't know, we have so many different ones. I'm certain it's in the neighborhood of 30.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Susan Johnson. I'm the current use administrator for the Assessor's Office in Lewis County.
How long, Susan? How much longer?
97 get-ups. I'm here to speak on agenda item number 4, notice of hearing for current use applications for open space timber, which by RCW 8434, I noticed my notice at 81, it's actually 8434. Revised Code of Washington 8434 gives property owners the opportunity to be taxed at current use value as set by the Department of Revenue, rather than based on the assessor's assessed values if they are devoting their land to certain current uses. And those that are growing timber under the Open Space Timber Act, those applications come to the Board of County Commissioners for approval, and you will be hearing those applications on March the 18th.
Susan, I think, correct me, I think I'm wrong, but I was under the impression at least that you couldn't have open space timber within the city.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I was under the impression that you couldn't have open space timber within the confines of a city.
That's an excellent question. If the growing of timber and harvesting of timber is against any city ordinance, or if the city commissioners, city council members decide that they do not wish to approve that, they can vote against it. We have applications on 3 parcels from the city of Vader. The city of Vader approved that in their last council meeting. I would have given you a copy of those signed minutes, but they are meeting tomorrow to approve and sign those, and you will have it on the 18th. There are also 2 parcels that are part of the UGA for the city of Centralia. And when I contacted the building department for the city of Centralia, they informed me that it was fine with them. They really didn't care. And because it was not part of the incorporated area, it did not require a vote of the city council.
Maybe they'll ask you the same thing about small town mixed use. Small town mixed use.
Small town mixed use.
We have one application for a small town mixed use open space timber. Did they do the same?
Theirs would be the same, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Any further discussion of the notice agenda? I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Notice agenda is approved. For the consent agenda, I would like to split out item number 5, resolution number 13-074 separately. So take a motion on that.
Just that one. I move that we address resolution number 13-074.
I'll second that.
Purpose of the discussion, go ahead, Tim, you make your presentation.
Morning, Commissioners. Lewis County Public Works Director speaking to item number 5, approving a contract to purchase aerial photos and related software services from Pictometry. As you're aware, the county has a need for aerial photos along with software and services to utilize them. Ortho photos are the usual straight-down photographs that are commonly used in aerial photography. Oblique aerials are bird's-eye photos that allow for a more natural interpretation of the image and provide significant data not shown in the ortho photos. This data is compatible with the county's GIS system and can be used to support multiple county interests. At the board's direction, the Public Works Department has gathered outside partners and drafted a contract with Pictometry. The resolution before you will approve a 9-year, 3-flight agreement with Pictometry to acquire 1,221 square miles at an after-tax cost of $367,045.83 over 9 years, or $40,782.87 per year. Additional contracting totaling $90,720 or $10,080 per year is planned in order to buy a change finder, which is a building footprint layer derived from the arterials, and also to have Pictometry host the data software over the internet. These amendments have been a part of the project and funding model since October of 2012. Signing a base contract before you now is important to secure our place in Pictometry's spring flying schedule and to ensure leaf-off flights. As you're aware, and we presented this in many different locations throughout the county, Pictometry is a way so that you can see not only straight down images, but also images from different angles on a building. Pictometry was originally developed for emergency services and for emergency response. It has been criticized as being a type of a big brother scenario, but I will guarantee you that Lewis County cannot pay for that kind of technology. We are basically only buying aerial photography that also looks at angles, so that when emergency services are going to a facility or if they're doing planning operations, they can see all the way around the building. They can see the windows and doors on either side of the building. We have met with several different entities. We went up and met with Skagit County, who's been using this since 2007, and they developed a funding partnership, which we've modeled our system after. They say that they've never had a funding partner drop out. Part of the reason for that is because of the training that they provide, and we are, not only that Pictometry provides, and Pictometry will provide training for virtually every desktop user, but Lewis County Public Works will also provide training for the end users. We have met with the city of Chehalis, Centralia, and Napavine, and they've all signed on to it, as well as Tacoma Power and the PUD. Each of these entities sees the value in having this. It's not only useful for emergencies responders, which it is, and like I say, it was developed for that, but it's also useful in public works situations where we can, the measuring tools in Pictometry will allow for us to measure linearly, will allow us to measure areas and also vertically, which is completely different than anything that's on the market right now. There are several major differences between this and Google Earth, which a lot of people have said that can you get the same thing from Google Earth? You can't for many reasons. First of all, you never know the resolution that you're dealing with Google Earth. You can have some basic measurement tools, but you can't get on the ground nap of the earth measuring tools from Google Earth. You also can't get the area, and you can't get the vertical measuring tools. You don't have any control over when those photographs were flown. You cannot get the obliques, and you can't get the resolution that we have. We are actually able to designate the resolution. And the resolution that we're talking about is either 9-inch or 4-inch pixels, which is much better than anything that we've flown on a normal basis in the county. The last that we flew was in 2008. It was a 12-inch pixel, so that's 1 foot by 1 foot. We have, after the 2006 flood, flown with 6-inch pixels, but that was just to get that was for a special project. So this will provide very good data, very accurate for us to be able to go out and, for example, if we're planning a water project in Vader, we can paint the water valves and measure between the water valves with the accuracy enough to allow us to order pipe. We certainly can't design the project, but we can also light up by painting the fire hydrants, so when emergency responders are responding, they know the distance because they can measure accurately how far the house or structure is from the fire hydrant. Another criticism on this is the add-on called Change Finder. And What ChangeFinder will do is it allows for, after the first flight, successive flights will be able to tell if buildings have changed in their size by about, if they have to have changed by about 150 square feet. So this will allow people that don't get building permits, or it will allow for the assessor to target areas where they know that there have been changes when they go out and reassess properties. And there's certainly an argument to be made that this is a necessary tool for everyone to pay their fair share. And there are other arguments to be made that this is a little bit too intrusive. All in all, we have the need for high definition aerial photography. The county public works department has paid for just aerial photography about once every 5
Let me
years.
ask you that real quickly. So you pay for aerial photography now?
Yes, we do.
And how long have you been doing that?
Oh gosh, how long have we been doing
Since early 90s.
Now, I have pictures flying up and down the river that go back to 1948. Who was doing those? You put those together for me.
Yeah, that was, I think, a private company that flew those. I don't know if we got those from a railroad or forestry company. I'm not sure exactly how we acquired them.
But you're using aerial photography now.
That's correct. And have been for quite a while. Like I say, the last time we flew was 2008, so we try to do it at a minimum of every 5 years. So it's time again for us to fly. As part of the funding mechanism that we put into place, we allowed for the public works amount that we paid every year, or that we would pay every year for aerial photography, to be a part of this funding package, which reduces the cost to other people. PUD and Tacoma Power each put in $15,000 towards this project. This is for the first 3-year period. And like I say, we met with Chehalis Centralia. They both have concluded, and I think correctly, that they can't buy the aerial photography for what they're being charged for this particular product. It's a very good cooperation and collaboration with the cities, and I think we'll have more partners as we move forward and people see how well this works.
Or how bad.
Yes.
Sheriff Mansfield, did you have some comments?
I do want to mention that I have PowerPoint presentations of the pictometry, our pictometry presentation for you on the line.
Don't know too far. Ask questions, please.
For your record, Steve Mansfield, Sheriff of Lewis County. Just a couple comments. We just recently completed our 3rd or 4th revision of the emergency management mapping system, in which we're using the technology from 2008 for the Ortho. Is that correct, Matt? Yeah, and we paid about $3,000 for that. This apparently does something similar, and they can use this technology to include in there, and I think that's a cost savings as far as just having to do that. Again, we do that every 3 or 4 years. We try and update this. This has all our hazard mapping, everything that we use in emergency management, to all sorts of different overlays on it to help us mitigate, plan, respond, and recover from emergency disasters. The application from a law enforcement perspective, there's some neat stuff here. It doesn't compare to what our emergency management needs are for this project. So that's one of the reasons that I would support this.
Yeah, I have a written statement in this. I've written this up so it can go into the record. I want to preface it by saying that we're in a society today that has a mania, if you will, about gun control. And I got a video yesterday or the day before from someone, and our Constitution and our Second Amendment rights are guaranteed. They don't guarantee us the right to have hunting rifles. That amendment was put in the Constitution for a reason, that being that the people who settled in this country were a little bit fearful of government. And the video that I had yesterday pinpointed that, and that of all the people that have died at the hand of others, by far, the biggest criminal in that is government in the history of the world. Russia, China, India, no farther than Iraq. The genocide that's been committed in those countries, and of course, we can't forget Germany. The genocide that's been committed in those countries has killed far millions and even maybe billions of people over the years, that we're worried about people packing handguns in this country to protect themselves. The Second Amendment was put in there to protect the people from government. I preface that because this particular issue of pictometry, I feel, is an invasion of our privacy. In my lifetime, and I'm reading from my statement now, in my lifetime I've witnessed dramatic changes, some good and some not so good. I can remember thinking at the time the Endangered Species Act was passed that it was not necessarily a good thing and it would have consequences down the road. The same is true with the Growth Management Act and all the regulations that have been passed down for its implementation. But where would we all be without computers, cellular phones, and iPads? The technology we have today can be invasive as well. Has anyone in this room ever turned off your cell phone just because you knew you were going to be interrupted when you didn't want to be? I think probably not. I know I have. Now we have the technology to take three-dimensional aerial photos of the landscape in the form of pictometry. To me, this is an invasion of our privacy that is beyond our personal control. We can't just turn it off. While it's been decried as the savior of government, that it will save thousands, if not millions of dollars, that will help first responders get to the area of distress more rapidly and provide care more quickly, that it will give surveyors the ability to pinpoint more or less specific properties without getting out of the office, and that it will allow properties to be assessed without a visual inspection. It also provides a means by which an individual space may be invaded. All of these are positive developments from the view of the county. That is, if they do indeed save money, and I personally have my doubts about that over time. But the future unintended consequences of the adoption of this technology by Lewis County, regardless of how great it seems, are what bothers me. Call me a throwback to the old days if you wish, but I will believe the potential of this technology evolving to the point of invading the privacy of our citizens is very real. I question the benefit of this technology when I weigh it against the potential, and I feel that I cannot in good conscience support this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any other questions?
I understand what Commissioner Gross is saying, and I know it's a balancing act. And at this point in my mind, the balance is it's better for us to do this, save us money, save lives. And I know technology can benefit us, and this is a way we can use it to help. I understand the other side of it, but I think the way in which we can use it to benefit our citizens outweighs the other dangers.
No further discussion. I will call for the question on consent item number 5, resolution number 13-074. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Aye. The resolution is approved. We will go on to the rest of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the rest of the consent agenda as 4 through 9, resolution 013-075, 6 through 9, resolution 13-075 through 13-078.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Mr. Elson.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you are, I'm speaking to items number 6 and 7 on your consent agenda. And as you'll remember, we, several years ago, surplus a piece of property on Ray Road near Toledo. We had been working with the PUD to come power to purchase that property. However, we were not able to come to an agreement with them through the normal process. So we did put, as in accordance with the RCWs, we put this out to bid with a minimum bid of $10,000. We did receive one bid back, and for $10,100. And this resolution would authorize the sale of this property to Mr. Arnold of 140 Ray Road in Toledo, Washington.
Let me clarify a little bit. Tacoma Power was interested in this property as part of their fish mitigation plan. And they have Habitat advisory group. And I don't know what happened and what fell through. Larry may know more about it than I do, but we hashed this back and forth, and I don't know whether they just didn't want to meet that price or what, but they dropped the ball and said they weren't as interested in it, so that's why we put it back out to bid. And Mr. Arnold came up with the bid. The city of Tacoma Power did not put the bid in.
They did not, and certainly they could have. So it does meet our minimum bid when we recommend it. Speaking to item number 7, resolution number 13-076, approving proposed vacation of a portion of the Fred Mahoric Road. The resolution in front of you would instruct the county engineer to examine a portion of Fred Mahoric Road and report his findings regarding a request for the vacation of right-of-way. The only property owner abutting the unmaintained Fred Mahoric Road has requested that the county vacate a portion of the unmaintained right-of-way. Any and all interest other than the requesting party will be evaluated as part of the engineer's report. The requesting party has deposited a check to cover administrative and publication costs of vacation, non-refundable once this resolution is signed, regardless of the findings and recommendations of the engineer. Passing this resolution would instruct the engineer to examine the road, evaluate the request, and file an engineer's report as required by RCW 3687010 and Lewis County Code 12.15. Thank you.
Item number 8 is approval of warrants. We have 291 regular warrants issued by the auditor's office in the amount of $488,868.71, and 6 special purpose warrants for the Gator Water System in the amount of $2,498.06 for a total of $483,366.77.
Resolution number 13-078, appointment of members to the Timberland Regional Library Trustee Board. As many of you know, John Ron and myself have been on the Timberland Regional Library Board, and we needed to appoint 2 Lewis County citizens to fill our unexpired terms. And I have to say, we've received really good applications for those 2 positions. And having sat on that, we had a high test for that, and any of these folks that submitted their applications could have been approved. We have selected Hal Blanton, a businessman from Packwood, to serve on the Timberland Regional Library Board, as well as Regina King, who is currently instructor at Centralia College and an advisory board member on the Discover Children's Museum. I see Regina is in the audience. Regina, do you want anything to say?
Please come up to the mic and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, for the position in which you're placing me in. I am really excited, as some of you may not know from my application. This is a position in which I have been looking after and wanting to do for years. From the time that my youngest son was born, he is now 11. And I have been involved with the library, and the library has been instrumental for our family and for myself, and I just really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you very much for volunteering.
I have to speak on behalf of Mr. Blanton. He's doing a reset at his grocery store today, and if you've never been through one of those, it's very trying. I was there at about 9 o'clock last night, and I saw him headed to the store at 5 o'clock this morning, so he was in the process of that. So
Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Then I'll call for the question for items 6 through 9, 13-075 through 13-078. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. We have 2 hearings. The way these hearings work, are you going to do a hearing from there?
No, I can do it from there. I just wanted to mention that if anyone wanted to sign up, that there are sign-up sheets up here for people to speak to either of these hearings.
The hearing will start out with a staff report, followed by a question and answer period. We will then close the question and answer period and open it for public testimony. So if anybody's interested in signing up for a public testimony, that sheet is there. The question and answer period, anytime after the staff report, we'll call for that. You don't have to sign up for the questions. So the first hearing is a rental agreement with East Lewis County Transfer Station.
Morning, Commissioners. As you're aware, the Lewis County and Lewis County Disposal District Number 1, which is a quasi-municipal corporation, entered into a rental agreement for the East Lewis County Transfer Station in Morton on August 1st, 1996. This agreement expired December 31st, 2012. In accordance with RCW 3634-160, a notice of intention to lease was published, and it was published for a 3-week period, and we have received no other rental agreements for this property. So the resolution before you would authorize the lease of the property in Morton from the county to Lewis County Disposal District Number 1. And this, we are keeping the same terms of the agreement, by the way, which is $859 per month. And it is for a period of 5 years. Would you like me to speak to the other hearing as well?
Probably need to adopt them separately.
We'll adopt this separately. Does the board have any questions? Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Any questions at all? Then I will close the question and answer period. Tim, would you like your opening comments to be incorporated into the record of the hearing?
Yes, sir.
Is there any other testimony?
I just have a comment. This is one of those funny little deals where the county commissioners in charge of the county property are renting that county property to the solid waste disposal district, which we are also the commissioners for. So it gets a little bit tricky tracking stuff down, but that's the way we have to do it. We are also the board of the solid waste disposal district. So the county, we acting in one capacity as county commissioners, are renting the property to us in the other capacity as the solid waste disposal district representatives. It's just the way it's set up. It's crazy, but it's the way it's set up.
That's correct, with a little bit of a caveat in that the revised code of Washington does allow for counties to develop a disposal district, and it does state that the Board of County Commissioners will be the board of the disposal district. In our case, every city has signed on to the agreement joining the disposal district, and the disposal district budget is governed by an executive advisory committee that meets once a year to approve the budget. So it does get scrutiny from other entities as well.
Thank you.
Is anyone interested in testifying on this? Then I'll close the hearing for public testimony, and I will entertain a resolution.
I move that we approve the rental agreement between Lewis County and Solid Waste Disposal District Number 1 of Lewis County for the East Lewis County Transfer Station and authorizing signature thereon, resolution number 079.
Second.
So the motion has been made and seconded for resolution number 13-079. I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is passed. We now have a second hearing. Mr. Elson.
Yes, and this is for the rental agreement for the central transfer station in Centralia. which also expired December 31st, 2012. This agreement, which first became effective April 1st, 1994, is again between Lewis County as the owner of the facility and Lewis County Solid Waste Disposal District Number 1, understanding that we own the buildings on the property at the central transfer station. The city actually owns the property, and we have a separate rental agreement with the city. According to RCW 3634-160, the public must be allowed to comment on the meeting. Therefore, a resolution was approved on February 4th, 2013, establishing a hearing to be held on March 4th, 2013, and a notice of intention to lease was published for a 3-week period. A renewal agreement has been prepared in which all terms and conditions remain the same as the 1994 agreement, except that the new agreement calls for monthly rental payments of $51,000 payable to the county by the district. The 1994 agreement had monthly rental payments set at $38,700, which was renegotiated as allowed in Section 3 of the agreement, and the county and district agreed to an increased payment of $51,000 per month beginning January 1st, 2010. The new agreement states that the monthly rental payment will remain at $51,000, and the first payment will be retroactively due January 1st, 2013. This is also a 5-year agreement which will expire December 31st, 2017. And one of the things that you'll notice is that we are doing this by hearing now, and this has not been done by hearing in the past, and that's because we've got a great civil attorney in Glen Carter who, in researching this, decided that this was the proper way to go about it in accordance with RCWs.
Are there any questions? So the East County transfer station is $800 a month?
1859.
And the Centralia one is how much?
51,000.
And then the difference is from 1,800 to 51,000 is?
The transfer station itself, all the facilities that are built out there, making sure that we have enough money to pay for the landfill closure. It has to make sure, it is all of the facilities that are included. It originally was part of the bond payment, which was $38,700. An appraisal was done back, I think, just before 2010, and the new appraisal came in at $51,000 per month. It was done by the Real Estate Services Division of the Public Works Department.
Are there any questions? Colonel Abrams.
Ron Abel from Greater Centralia area, and sometime member of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee and chair of the Solid Waste Disposal District. I think that it's important to point out that while that figure of 51,000 appears large, it also pays for the construction of the building itself, of the transfer station and the side buildings of the facility, which were bonded, and we have to pay those off. And so that's part of that large cost. The other aspect of it is that payment's going into a special fund for future costs. So it's not going into the operating fund.
That's correct. There are 2 different portions of this payment. The $38,700 that is being paid for the bonds, and anything above that is going back into the disposal district for future capital improvement projects.
I just wanted to clarify that, because if you would look at it on the face, that's quite a big difference in the 2 payments. But it makes sense if you do a bond and a capital fund.
That's correct. We had to construct all of the improvements on the site so that it could be used as a transfer station.
Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? Then I will close the question and answer period. Mr. Elsie, would you like to have your opening comments be incorporated into the record of the hearing?
Yes, sir.
Is there any public testimony? No one has signed up. If there's anyone who would like to speak, is there any public testimony? Then I will close the hearing for the public testimony and entertain a resolution.
Chairman, I move we approve resolution number 13-080, approving a rental agreement with the solid waste disposal district for the central transfer station.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Then I'll call for a question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Seeing no further business, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?